Okay, my name is Moira. I'm the co-founder of Irish Radio International, which is an internet radio station directed at the Irish diaspora on the one hand and the new Irish on the other hand. So we have two audiences who are, one might say, mutually exclusive, but by directing at these two audiences, we've actually taken the whole world.
Excellent. It's based here in Cork. How did it come about?
It came about basically through having a history in radio broadcasting, albeit on a voluntary basis. I was involved in community radio, and just over 18 months ago, we decided that we would try and do something on our own. And it started out as Cork International Radio, but within a few weeks we were persuaded that we should broaden our sphere of influence, let's say, to encompass all of Ireland. So on the 19th of March we changed our name to Irish Radio International, and we've been broadcasting as such ever since.
Who's involved?
We have about 20 presenters, all of whom are voluntary at this stage. Basically, we would, if we had to pay for our presenters, we'd be bust in about 5 minutes. The station is currently looking for ways of making money and funding, but at present we're supported by all our presenters and contributors who pay a little bit, a subscription to pay the running costs. And it's a model that is working. It won't work for very long. We have to find a way of monetizing. Horrible word, but unfortunately the American market is potentially a big market for us.
But it's interesting, Moira, because as you were saying to me, you have experience in media. You've worked as a film producer as well, and you must know this, or you must would you agree that the barriers to entry for people to produce media for themselves have come down so dramatically as a result of technology and the developments of the internet?
Oh, absolutely. And the cost of setting up the station was really very minimal. Okay, we have spent more money as we go along, improving the quality of our broadcasts. But we started off, I think, it was less than €1,000. Okay, because I'm a filmmaker, I have a lot of filmmaking equipment. I was able to use some of that in setting up a sound studio. Most of that, of course, has now been superseded by proper stuff. But yes, the barriers on all types of media have come down very, very low. But at the end of the day, whilst the equipment may be there at a reasonable price, it still requires to have good content and good presentation. I'd say good looks, but I've got a face for radio, so I can say that.
Moira, we're here for TEDxCork Women. It's going to be held here in Cork. This is the launch event. It's going to be held here on the 6th of December.
Yes.
What do you think is the significance of events such as that, where we don't just use social media, we don't just use broadcasting and radio, be it internet or otherwise, we actually get together in a room and look at someone on a stage giving a lecture? Is there still a place for that in 2013?
Absolutely. I was introduced to TED some 3 or 4 years ago, and I have to say that I'm an immense fan. I have guilty pleasures of getting my iPad out and just going from one TED film to another, and I get immense satisfaction. I was going to say pleasure, but in terms of learning and increasing knowledge. So Cork TEDx is, if you like it, taking it down to a local level, looking at issues which affect us as people living in Cork or living in the south of Ireland, and especially as being women in the modern society, which obviously I'm very interested in. And anything that goes to further the cause of women in business, women in public life, then the better.
we're discussing this today on a day which is apparently, I only discovered this today, International Men's Day. We'll leave that as it may be. In addition to that, there's a political row in relation to gender quotas for political parties and candidates who stand for parties for election. What do you think is the position of the women's movement, let's say in 2013? We've come a long way. What is the message for us now as we face into TEDxCork Women?
I think the message has to be that in all spheres of life, barring childbearing, women and men are equal. Now, I know that the issue of children, the raising of children, is always a hairy one or hoary one when you're talking about equality for women. But certainly in terms of public life and in terms of women in business, women should have equal opportunity. They should be paid at an equal rate, something which I am strongly a proponent of. And yet, equal pay for women has been on the cards for 30, 40 years, and yet today women still lag behind men by 15, 20% in the workplace for equal jobs. So we have a long way to go. But something like Cork TEDx is a small step to achieve equality.
And is it as simple as that, Moira? More communication, more awareness, more advocacy, or are there more concrete steps needed to actually achieve that equality?
I think I am open to arguments on quotas. Personally, I don't think quotas work. I think the best should be allowed to rise to the top, but there shouldn't be any bars over the best rising to the top. And I feel that our political system today is such that an equivalent man, an equivalent woman with the same capabilities, the man will always rise to the top first, and the woman are way behind second.
So there's still work to be done.
There's still work to be done. Now, once we can achieve that level of equality, you won't need quotas.
Thank you very much. That's absolutely